even though I had done nothing wrong. After a lot of public outcry, MOM and police told me I can stay in Singapore on a special pass till the investigation into my case is over. And I would be allowed to work on the temporary job scheme during this time.
Hello guys, today I'll talk about these migrant workers, Singapore migrant workers from Bangladesh. I just heard a story about how this Bangladeshi worker can bring about. He is deported to his own country unfairly by the immigration and the police in Singapore. Okay. Still so confusing and arrogant. I thought he's not Singaporean. He's just a Bangladeshi from some kind of country that he doesn't like. And because of all this Bangladeshi, a foreign alien in Singapore, a foreign alien, not Singaporean. Alright, listen properly. Not Singaporean, ranting about rights in Singapore.
To my shock, they say they finished their investigation and I might need go back to Bangladesh. But they have not found my harasser. They were not able to give me any answer about my case. This is a betrayal because earlier the authorities assured me that I would be allowed to continue working in Singapore after my case.
Hello, I want to say to this imbecile, when Singapore government want to deport him. There's no need to have any good reason because he's not a Singaporean, he's not a citizen, he doesn't contribute anything to Singapore. Yes, he work in Singapore, but he still get paid, right? Moreover, he create a lot of trouble in Singapore, not just because of people asking him for money, but he also talk about a lot of rubbish about workers' rights, about migrant workers' rights in Singapore. Those migrant workers, I tell them what? They come to Singapore to work, but not to shout here and shout there about human rights or workers' rights. If not happy, go back to their own country, or complain to their own country, or talk about human rights or worker rights in their own country. Then let's see what the country can do for them. Bangladesh, you know what? That's the reason why a lot of Bangladeshi like to come to Singapore and work, because the country over there treat workers like shit. So what rights does he have to complain about Singapore? He come to Singapore to work, not to advocate some migrant workers' rights, and not to complain how the employer treated him using things like social media. He doesn't have the rights because the permit is for him to work in Singapore, but not to talk rubbish on social media about the workers' rights and also about human rights. So what rights does he have to talk so much on the social media telling Singaporeans to support him? It's none of a Singaporean's business, but supposed to be the business in his own country. Let his own country deal with it. He should complain to his own country, why the country didn't give him a job, also didn't give him a good pay, and also no human rights and workers' rights. So does that mean that a country treat the worker like shit? They have to come to Singapore or other good country to work and seek refuge? This is ridiculous.
I requested to the police to talk to my ex-employer and tell them that I have done nothing wrong and help me get my old job back. But the police refused. I need reassurance from MOM that if any new employer applies for a work permit for me, they will not reject me.
It is really a privilege, a blessing that Singapore authority has accepted him to come to Singapore to work for a few years. So what's wrong for Singapore to deport him back to his own country so that he stay in his own country and work there? Why must he come to Singapore and work? And what made him so indefensible? Taking what the Singapore given him for granted. He will stay in Singapore for a few years, work in Singapore for a few years, and even talking rubbish on social media about workers' rights for a few years, and complain a lot of things for a few years in Singapore. What else does he want? Of course, he got to be deported and not to stay in Singapore as a freeloader. So what made him so special? He should stay in Singapore. He should get deported out of Singapore, and not to talk about something like worker rights and things like stupid rights. They come here to work in Singapore, not come here to advocate about workers' rights. And do you think that a lot of companies will hire this kind of people? Obviously, no. And that's also one of the reasons that he got rejected by so many companies in Singapore. Who dare to hire him? Who dare to hire this kind of arrogant imbecile? When the migrant workers like him come here to work in Singapore, work and obey the laws and the rules and obey the employer. and then go back to his own country and enjoy with the family, but not here to try to be hero to advocate about human rights or workers' rights.
It has become urgent for me to find work because my wife has developed some medical emergencies and needs multiple surgeries for a hernia, tumor and gallstone removal. I have run out of funds and will not be able support my family unless I find work soon.
My point is to this imbecile, to this Bangladeshi imbecile, please return to Bangladesh happily and settle his family problem in his own country. It's nothing to do with Singapore. And I'm logic to say that. Remember to subscribe, like and share my video and leave down your comments. Ciao.